What's your opinion on this potential TikTok ban?
I oppose it. I oppose it on the grounds of free speech and civil liberties. This is, speaking of fomenting fear, this is one of those pieces of legislation that's, if you just read the talking points for those who support it, and it's supported by many people in Congress on both sides of the aisle, you think like, oh my gosh, we've got a national security risk and you've got concern for our kids and all of this other stuff. But when you actually read the language and understand the implications of what this legislation does, it's not really about TikTok at all. It's about government being able to choose what platforms are acceptable and what are not, and what we as Americans are able to either get information from or put information out. And then you look at, okay, well, if they're giving themselves that authority, how will it then be enforced? Then you get into the civil liberties concern of the Fourth Amendment, of government overreach and trying to figure out, okay, well, now I'm going to have to look into your phone and figure out if you're the guy who's using the VPN to illegally download this app. Then you're looking at, the designation is that if you have 20% or more ownership stake or stake in a business that has been designated by our government to be illegal because of its association with a foreign adversary. There are a few countries listed there, but the president would have the power to designate any other country a foreign adversary without any kind of, Congress wouldn't have to take action. It's a unilateral move. You are also implicated if you are someone who the government determines to be influenced by or connected with one of these countries that is a foreign adversary. And so, Elon Musk has talked about this. It is not outside of the realm of the not only possible, but the probable that if they wanted to say, okay, well, Elon Musk is doing business with this country that we don't like, and he also owns this platform called X should be shut down because of this association. I think Ron Paul said it best when he said that this legislation is the most, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said it's the most egregious violation of civil liberty since the Patriot Act was passed in the wake of 9/11. And when you look at the arguments that are being made around both of those pushes, they are very eerily similar in invoking national security concerns. And the language and the way that's written is intentionally vague, that puts far more power into the hands of the executive branch, just like the Patriot Act did, to single-handedly say, well, this is a good guy and this is a bad guy. And that has a direct implication on Americans. It took an already bad problem and made it many, many times worse. And again, they're just saying, well, it's for national security. The problem here is...
That's the thing they always say.
That's the thing they always say. And it's like, I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, if you are choosing security over liberty, you will neither be secure nor will you have liberty. That's not an actual quote, but that's basically the point here. And that's the false choice that so many of these politicians are forcing on the American people is you can either be less free and more safe, or you can be more free and, oh, by the way, you're going to invite more terrorist attacks or more national security incursions on our country. And it's just BS. It is BS.
When you and I are having a conversation and then all of a sudden we talk about Toyota trucks and there's an ad for a Toyota truck, like, hey, did you guys know that we were talking about, are you listening, Google?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing? Like, how do you...
Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all of it.
How the fuck do you know what I'm interested in?
Right, exactly.
Because they're trying to sell you things. They're all trying to sell you things.
Of course.
Yeah, and the best way to sell people things is find out what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense, of course. Like, Elon and X Elon specifically was the only one who stood up amongst our American big tech companies to say, no, this is a very bad bill. The others, to my knowledge, were very, very silent, or they were actually coming out in support of it. Competition makes sense. The other piece of that is, other than X and TikTok, the Biden administration has been very successful at working with Google and Meta, Facebook, Instagram, in being able to control quote unquote disinformation and information. So when you look at from a government standpoint, well, why if you're concerned about data security and privacy, why aren't you doing it across the board and treating every social media company that Americans use with that same standard? Well, maybe they're just going after the ones that they can't actually control and intimidate into doing their work for them, which is why it makes sense why Elon Musk and others would say, well, of course, if today it's TikTok, then why wouldn't it be X tomorrow?